Hi, welcome to the Shelley Studio. This is day 2 of the hashtag event Color of the Year art. The colors of the year are Pantone's colors of the year are Serenity Blue and Rose Quartz. And so I'm using those colors to create this watercolor of Venice. Several years ago, I was on a trip to Venice, and we actually was taking some pictures. It was early morning, and those colors are what was actually in the photograph. Just a blue and pink colors. It was really pretty. So I've edited the drawing of the Grand Canal here just a little bit, so you can see some of the drawing, but not the whole thing. So I apologize if it's a bit choppy, but I figured you didn't want to sit through that whole process. And I am doing kind of an altered perspective on this. As you can see where my perspective lines go out, they are not meeting. That's to try and give the roundness effect of the way the canal is. I've already been messing with my watercolors, so the water I'm putting on here is tinted blue, but I am just putting a water wash down, and then I will add more colors to the sky. This is just to get the sky all wet. I really like using the wet in wet technique on the sky. I think it gives a lot of great effects. I'm not putting any clouds in this particular sky, so it is kind of plain, but I think it uses the two colors really well. I'm just tilting the canvas to get the colors to run and cover in areas. I still want a little unevenness to the sky and the two colors. So now the sky is completely dry. I did blow dry it. I'm putting the water down for where the water is going to go. I'm wetting that area, and then we're going to put that in. Along the Grand Canal in Venice, they have hundreds of poles and docks, and it's so hard to represent in watercolors. So I do put a few in, but it's no comparison to how many there are. Like, everyone goes by boat everywhere. They have boat taxis. It's just a lot of fun. Anyway, so off to the left you can see I tried to put a few of the little piers in there, and I'll come back and put the poles in after. They do end up just being brown poles, but most of the poles in Venice are striped. It was just kind of hard for me to get that in there. So now I'm just adding some more blue onto mostly dry paper so we can get a rippled wave effect. And that's what I'm doing here. And it takes a long time to add layer upon layer of these so they don't just look like stripes and look more like water. Yeah, I took a cruise out of Venice. I went to the Greek Isles quite a while ago with my sister and my cousin. And I would love to go back to Venice. I'd like to go back anywhere in Europe. It was a lot of fun. I think it'd be fun to get a group of artists together and go paint somewhere exotic. Or different than where I am, anyway. I'm not the most skilled watercolorist, but I do have fun painting in watercolor. I like how fast the process can be. I say this and you're probably thinking, is this part ever going to end? I promise it does eventually. You don't want to overwork it too much or you'll end up with just a lot of dark blue. So now I'm just going along the edges, kind of darkening the base of the buildings and structures in the water just to make it feel like it's really sitting in the water. And then I'm just using a mixture of the blue and the red rose color to create different values for the different areas of the buildings. The buildings, some of them do have red roofs, but I mostly used a mixture of the blue and red for the roofs. These are just windows. There's no glass, they're just openings into this building on the side here. Oh, with little, I don't know what you call those, they're not really balconies. Are those what you call porticos? Little areas where you can stand and look out with a little railing. And all along the building that I'm doing now, these windows, they're all the same way. Some were square and some were arched. They weren't as decorative of windows, but they all had the little porches, the little railings in front of the windows. I could go crazy and get tons of detail in here, but I'm really just basically putting in the windows, trying to get a feeling for the area that I'm painting. It's by no means 100% accurate. It is taken from my photograph, but I can't put in every line. I think I'd go a little crazy. It'd have to be like a fine point pencil or pen and done in pen to get every single line in there. It's kind of hard to paint that. Sometimes when you're looking at photographs that you've taken, it's hard to see what's actually there. Sometimes you really have to examine. So now I'm shading the different buildings. The one in the front was kind of a red brick looking building, not brick, adobe. I wanted to give it just a reddish sort of hint. And then there is an opening right there where the canal goes in, and there's a door at the bottom. Just trying that. Now I'm doing the other side of the Grand Canal. This one had tons of buildings over there. Probably could have been using a little bit smaller brush, but I really like the brushes I'm using. You use what you get comfortable with and what you're used to. Straightening up that awning a little bit. And putting a few of the poles in the water And adding my little boat. Gondola, I guess I should say. Gondola. Remember, I'm not really painting this fast. This is sped up quite a bit. My lines aren't perfect. In fact, some of them are downright crooked. And this is thoroughly dry when I do this. Just want to make sure you know. And I'm using a white eraser. It's a special eraser that doesn't leave marks. And it's just going, and the only pencil marks that can really take up are ones that don't have any paint on them and have not dissolved into the paint. But it does get rid of a few extra lines where I didn't exactly meet the edges when I was painting. So it's helpful to get rid of a few lines. I really like the white erasers. They work so much better than the traditional erasers, and they work better than the kneaded eraser. And they don't hurt. This particular eraser is really soft. I mean, like if you ran it across really hard, you would just dissolve the eraser. It's that soft. I'm just trying to show that edge and firm up my lines a little bit along that particular side of the building. Adding some more shading to the domed buildings so that they look more round. Trying to get my poles to stand out a little bit more. I don't know what you call them in Venice. Are they pilings? I think we call them pilings in places I've been. And there we go. I hope you liked that, and if you did, please hit like, and if you have any ideas or comments, please comment below. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. Thank you.